So what's good, YouTube? American RX it is again. Shout out to the subscribers. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for viewing. Shout out to the ICCC. Shout out to Dartman XTV. Shout out to all West Indians, mainland Indians. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you all. Today I'll be building on what's a bond holder, and this is a very I find it's very interesting. I think you all should pay attention to this information, because what I get to understand is that that birth certificate, that document you call a birth certificate, you are the whole and due course of that instrument. All right, so it is a bond. You know what I'm saying? When I started to do more research, I realized it's a bond. But a bond to what? Right? A bond to the treasury, a bond to the corporation. You know what I'm saying? But it should be for your benefit. You know what I'm saying? You should know that. You should know your position, because you are a beneficiary. You are here. There's an estate, and you are the executor or the executrix over that estate. You know what I'm saying? You call the shots. So as opposed to what a shareholder is, a bondholder is a bondholder is an investor or owner of debt securities that are typically issued by corporations or governments. Okay? Bondholders are essentially lending money to the bond issuers, right? So basically what it's saying, the bondholder is the one who credits the bond issuer. So the bond issuer is a corporation or a government, right? It's the same thing. So let's say, for example, Jamaica, right? It's a corporation. It issues these instruments, right? Issue these bonds, these birth certificates. Now, you are the creditor, okay? They are trading your assets, okay? The minerals in the land, the minerals on the land, everything that's pertaining to the land belongs. Well, is you are the heir to it, because the Most High created the land for his, for her people, right? The land is supposed to take care of you or nourish you, okay? No, a government is just an entity in commerce. For them to have money, you have to give it to them. You know what I'm saying? One way of giving it to them is to sign over your rights to your minerals over to them for them to use in commerce, right? So this makes you the bondholder, right? In return, bond investors receive their principal initial investment back when the bonds mature. For most bonds, the bondholder also receives periodic interest payments. Okay, so like when you have a mortgage and they create that mortgage, they're the one who issue the mortgage, right? They issue, because a mortgage is a dead pledge, so they issue a dead pledge. So you are the creditor because your autograph initiates that dead pledge, okay? They now outsource that mortgage and write bonds against it, okay? The bonds they write they issue those bonds to the investors, so they have an interest in the mortgage, right? But they're using your house as the collateral to back the bonds, you know what I'm saying, that they wrote, okay? A bondholder is an investor who acquires bonds issued by an entity, such as a corporation or a government body. Bondholders essentially become creditors to the issuer, and so bondholders enjoy certain protections and priority over stock, right? Equity holders. All right. So the bondholder has the priority over the equity holder or the stock, over the stock or the shareholder. The holders of bonds receive their initial principal back when the bonds mature, in addition to periodic interest, coupon, in parentheses, equity in parentheses, okay? Because equity is also a very powerful thing you should learn. Payments for most bonds. Bondholders may additionally profit if the particular bonds that they own increase in value, okay? Which can then be sold on the secondary market. Bondholders explained, right? Investors may purchase bonds directly from the issuing entity. For example, Treasury bonds can be bought from U.S. Treasury during auctions of new issues. Bond investors can also purchase previously issued bonds on the secondary market through a broker or financial institution. Okay, so your third party interveners, like the debt collectors, that's pretty much what they do. They're like they try to claim they are bond holders, okay, but they never have the original bond, the original note. Okay. Bonds are typically considered safe stocks, okay, because bondholders have a higher claim on the issuing company's assets in the event of bankruptcy, right? In other words, if the company must sell or liquidate its assets, any proceeds will go to the bondholders before common stockholders. Okay, people? So you gotta position yourself as a bondholder. Okay, you're the bondholder. You hold all these bonds. You know what I'm saying? Everything that they write against that that account, you are the highest bidder. Okay, of all that is written against it. Okay, a brief primer on bond specifics. When investing in bonds, there are several vital areas that the bondholder must understand. When investing in bonds, there are several vital areas that the bondholder must understand before investing. Unlike stocks, bonds do not offer ownership participation in a company through a return of profits or voting rights. Instead, they represent the issuer's loan obligations, okay? The issuer's loan obligations. So what's happening is that this is where the IMF steps in, okay? In terms with these islands and stuff, with all these Caribbean corporate constructs acting as the land. So when the IMF loans money, they are the bond. They put themselves as the bond holders. So they are the ones who are first in line. You know what I'm saying? Because they are deemed creditors to the corporation. When the fact of the matter is, it's the other way around. We are the creditors. But what is the IMF? IMF is a fictitious organization. Okay? You can't lend. What money are you lending? What resource do you have? IMF, what do you have to offer? You know what I'm saying? You come and you lend, you so-called lend some fiat notes, which are promised to pay later, right? And in return for what? In exchange for what? Right? The full faith and credit of of these so-called countries. The full faith on credit is from the people, man. Okay? Obligations and the likelihood of repayment and other factors influence their pricing. So this is why you have inflation, all right? Because they have to raise the rates, right, to And this is what caused perpetual debt, okay? Because when you keep raising the rates, you're putting stress on the people, okay, on the backs of the people, okay? People that you're stressing the people, you're forcing them to assimilate, you're forcing them to adjust to these new policies, corporate policies, and you charge them because you can't really boldly put a gun to their heads and force them. You create every day, you create legalese statutes that is not law but corporate policy, and you attach a charge to these policies, and they attach it to your they charge your estate, right? So they're taxing your estate to pay back these bondholders when you are the bondholder, because you are the resource. You know what I'm saying? You supply the government. Government have nothing to give you, okay? The coupon rate is the rate of interest that the company or government will pay the bondholder. The interest rate can be either fixed or floating, okay? A floating rate might be tied to a benchmark such as a yield of 10 years treasury bond. Some bonds don't pay interest to investors. Instead, they sell at a lower price than their face value or at a discount. A zero coupon bond, for example, doesn't pay coupon interest but trades at a deep discount to the face value, rendering its profits at maturity, right? And these what's happening, these so-called banks are these so-called entities that claim they lend money or some money or whatever they lend. They don't pay taxes. Okay, they don't pay taxes. Right? They're tax evading. It's tax evasion, because that's why they keep their companies ambiguous. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who's behind these companies. It's just it's ambiguous. You don't know them. You don't know the faces behind it. Okay? When the bond returns its full face value, for example, 1,000, discounted bond might sell in the market for $9.50, and upon maturity, the investor receives 1,000 face value for a 50 profit. So they get the principal plus the profit, okay? Maturity date, that's capital gain, okay? Capital gain is if it's a capital gain, it's taxable, because that's a taxable event. Okay, a lot of them don't pay taxes. I'm telling you, they should pay taxes to us. They owe us. Okay. Maturity date. The date of maturity is when the company must pay back the principal, initial investment to bondholders. Most government securities pay back the principal at maturity. However, the corporations that issue bonds have a few options for how they can pay. Okay. The most common form of repayment is called a redemption out of capital. Here, the issuing company makes a lump sum payment on the date of maturity. A second option is called debenture redemption reserve. With this method, the issuing company returns specific amounts each year until the debenture is repaid on the date of maturity. So this is what happened when you're with the IMF loans, okay? They claim their position as bondholders, and off the people's back, they are profiting, right? And they're not paying the taxes. The people are paying taxes, but not them who's getting all those gains. Okay? Some bonds are callable securities. A callable bond, also known as a redeemable bond, is one that the issuer may redeem at a date before the stated maturity. If called, the issuer will return the investor's principal early, ending all future coupon payments. Credit ratings. The issuer's credit rating and ultimately the bond's credit rating impacts interest rate that investors will receive.